First, I want to acknowledge our PSs, starting with our PS, Roslyn Jogu, in charge of the State Department of Diaspora, for the inspiration she has provided in the last 7 or so months that has actually led to these kind of meetings that you're having. This is the first of its kind, I would say. It's the first time I'm seeing this kind of impetus in the diaspora, which is very encouraging. I also want to thank you, Makosir, and other leaders in diaspora in Europe for organizing this forum. And you know, I know it's been it's not a mean fit. You've been working on this for the last many months. We've been discussing, and I'm happy that now we are able to congregate and have some kind of discussion and launch the forum. A bit of history. This diaspora we are talking about, and even the State Department, originated from a department called Directorate of Personnel Management. It was initiated when I was there, sometime in the year 1999, 2000. And then it was then called the International Jobs Office. And the objective was to take care of diaspora and try and advertise and get as many Kenyans in international jobs as possible. And then it has morphed. It was moved from Directorate of Personnel Management in the Office of the President to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and it became again International Jobs Office, it had a department, and now we have a State Department of Diaspora. I think it is very encouraging. It's a realization that our country has reached where we now know that diaspora is a very important constituency and part of our population. For us here in the Nordic, I think I cover quite a large area, but the diaspora is not, it's very, very big. I think we have about 8,000 to 10,000 because not all of them have registered with us. And the demographic is, we have a lot of people who came during the 1980s, 1990s, and those now have, you know, citizens of this region, but they now have dual. And what that implies is that we have kids, children, and even grandchildren who are both Kenyan and Swedish, for example, in this country, and even in other countries, they have dual citizenships. That has brought about a bit of an issue with the culture. I think we have a lot of, we've had a lot of discussions regarding the challenges that we're facing with children being, you know, taken up by municipalities because of the way we discipline them. And that's a challenge, which we are, you know, we continue talking about and seeing how we can get a solution to it. When we talk about this, we're talking about not just, you know, establishing Kenyans or empowering Kenyans, but really we are trying to restore them in a sense, because most of them have gone through issues to do with mental health and even depression. It's quite rampant and it's a challenge. And that's one of the things that we're trying to see how we, as a mission, because we do not have experts in the mission, how we can work with the governments around to ensure that our Kenyans lead meaningful, useful lives. One of the people in the meeting here, I think Caroline, she's written a book and she can tell you a story about how this has affected 1 or 2 families in a very, very disturbing way. But on a positive note, we have a lot of companies around here who are looking for developers in Kenya and ICT, and I'm talking about our youth, because if we look at how we are now and the level at which we are at in terms of industrialization, we have a very big potential in terms of our youth and the fact that they are so tech savvy, and also the fact that with our infrastructure, which Ambassador Ndemo was part of creating, thank you very much, we now have a real critical mass of the kind of people that companies in Sweden and even in other countries, Denmark and Norway, are looking for in terms of ICT. And therefore, I would want to urge that we look at those positive things where we can link up our youth, not only here in diaspora, but also in Kenya, in getting into these jobs, the outsourcing jobs that the companies are giving. One other thing I wanted to highlight, because I know the time is short, is something we have noticed, and it's something that has happened with the last 2-3 years. Yeah, about 2 years. Most of the governments around the region have been taken up by the right wings, and this happening. There's like, I want to be specific for Sweden. There's something they're calling the TIDO agreement. And that agreement, if I can underline the most important thing, it is anti-immigration. And on the bottom of that, even those who have gained citizenships, we are finding a situation whereby, with the implementation beginning now, they can actually be revoked. And we find our Kenyans at risk. So what we are trying to do is sensitize them and tell them that for them to comply and to fit into what that agreement demands, then they have to do some certain things. We are doing that sensitization, and I would like to request that whoever has gone through the TIDO, reading it within the diaspora amongst our leaders, please, when you have your meetings, sensitize our Kenyans, sensitize our diaspora, because we have seen in some other countries have already started suffering from that agreement, from the implementation of that agreement. So I want to end there, because we have a lot of things to speak. I know this is a launch, and I'm looking forward to many more meetings where we can now elaborate and brainstorm and even find solutions to some of the problems we are having in this region and within Europe. Thank you very much.